long as you're there. Baby, we can do this all night. Keep on second guessing our love, oh love. I don't really care if you don't mind. Baby, we can do this all night. We can do it all night. We can do it all night. Baby, won't you hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. The closer I get, the further you go. I wanna know if I walk away, do you wanna get close? Do you wanna get close? Baby, we can do this all night. Keep on second guessing our love, oh no. I don't really care if you don't mind, don't mind. Baby, we can do this all night. Keep on second guessing our love, oh love. I don't really care if you don't mind. Baby, we can do this all night. We can do it all night. We can do it all night. Baby, won't you hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Don't tell me how you feel, so quiet laying next to me. The silence souvenir, letting you go, letting you go. Keep craving you the days that you don't want me, like searching for some heat inside a cold breeze. On and on forever, won't you hold me? Now won't you hold me? Oh, 'cause baby I try to tell lies. Now I could spell them out if I still tried. 'Cause I don't care as long as you're there, as long as you're there. Baby, we can do this all night. Keep on second guessing our love, oh love. I don't really care if you don't mind. Baby, we can do this all night. We can do it all night. We can do it all night. Baby, won't you hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Guess we're pioneers, roaming in the atmosphere. I hate when you're not near, drifting away, drifting away. Keep missing you the days that you don't see me, like searching for a heart inside of my sheet. Sitting here forever, won't you hold me? Now won't you hold me? Oh, 'cause baby I try to tell lies. Now I could spell them out if I still tried. 'Cause I don't care as long as you're there, as long as you're there. Baby, we can do this all night. Keep on second guessing our love, oh love. I don't really care if you don't mind. Baby, we can do this all night. We can do it all night. We can do it all night. Baby, won't you hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. The closer I get, the further you go. I wanna know.
So you're very welcome to Educogym Live with Jamie and Jacqui. We are really excited to be back. We had a couple of weeks break. It wasn't exactly intended. We had a bit of a slap on the wrist from Facebook. We somehow managed to broadcast a video that was pre-recorded and it wasn't labeled as pre-recorded, and well, no one actually knew why we weren't able to stream, but we're back and we are delighted to be back. So I will welcome in Jacqui. Jacqui, great to see you, and we have a special guest we'll introduce in a second. Jacqui, how are you?
I'm wonderful, Garrett. And Jamie. Sorry, I was looking at Garrett. Wonderful. I'm so excited to have Garrett as a guest today.
Garrett, you're very, very welcome. I have mixed my scenes up, so it was all set up so that I'd introduce you and make it very special. And instead, I just landed you in there.
Okay.
Good, very
Good morning,
professional.
guys.
I'm obviously out of practice. So great to have you with us, Garrett. And for those of you joining us for the first time, we're really excited to have you with us. And for those of you that have been watching our show regularly on Saturday, sorry we missed out the last few Saturdays. We had some technical issues, as I just mentioned. But today we wanted to talk a lot about the Educo model. So when we talk about Educogym, or when somebody first comes to Educogym, they're looking to lose weight, or they're looking to become healthier, or maybe to deal with stress. Some of the basic things that you'd expect from your health and wellness journey. But with Educogym, we have that extra added element where we really focus on the possibilities, really helping to educate people about the mind and how to apply it to the goal or outcome that you wish to achieve. And then when you really start to understand our model, and maybe you get a great result with weight loss or with your shape, then you suddenly discover maybe what's possible. So something that you thought wasn't possible, you suddenly realize that you are capable of it. And then we help you to understand the mechanics behind how that happens. So Jacqui, I mean, obviously we've talked a good bit about this before, how the Educo model and the exciting possibilities that it has. But maybe you'd just give your, I suppose, introduction to the Educo model, and then we're dying to find out how Garrett really has applied it in real life.
Yeah, so as some of our listeners would have heard in some of our lives, the biggest thing that we want to relate to our clients is that Educogym is more than just a gym. So when people come in to us, yes, they're coming in, we train them through the machine to train their body. The weight training has a knock-on effect on their mind. And then if some of our clients want to take the Educo model further, they go further with that, and they go on one of the Educo seminars where they're trained in the area of the mind by Dr. Tony Quinn, who is the creator and founder of Educogym. And I suppose that's why we decided to start a little bit of this series, is that if we could get, some of our clients on to explain their experience of taking and following through the whole steps of our model, and how it's not only just transformed their physical shape, but it's also transformed their mind and other areas of their life as well through the education of the Educo model. So, and thank you, Garrett, so much for coming on tonight, or today, I should say, this morning, to explain your experience as a client in Educogym, and how you came into a gym to get fit. And to take us through the process of your journey with us would be great. So I might let you maybe start and just tell us, how did you hear about Educogym first, Dave?
Okay. Could I just would you mind if I just shared my screen just for a quick picture?
Yeah, of
Jamie?
course. Yeah. We'd love that. Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay. I'll just go to, and then I'll turn it off. So can you see my screen?
Can't actually. I'm
No.
not sure. If you email me the picture, I can actually share it.
Okay.
If that's possible.
And then I'll just yeah.
While Garrett's just doing that, I think one of the things that what we're hoping to do with talks like this on a Saturday, maybe it's to really give you an idea as somebody watching this as to what is possible when you learn to really apply your mind, and you understand more about the mechanics of your mind. Because if you think about it, it's the one thing that's going to impact every second of your life is your mind. Garrett.
Yeah, so what I wanted to do was I wanted to share the picture, Jacqui, I shared with you the other day, and then you can just I sent it on to you by email, and where my journey started. I suppose I was 18, and the picture would probably tell 1,000 words, so that's why I wanted to share that with you. I suppose I came across the Educo after the financial crash, and my weight had plummeted around to 18 stone, I think, and I had been struggling constantly with weight gain and weight loss, and I was going to various gyms, tried everything, CrossFit. I've tried everything for many years. I was introduced. I don't live far away from Eccles Street, is where I first started, and I went down there for a trial, and I think it was around 210, 212, and Connor was the trainer then. a fantastic trainer, Connor was. And I started my program there and got significant results, and have been a member, I suppose, ever since. And I suppose based on those results, I went away to the UK then for a couple of years, around 2014, and again had I suppose had gained weight again, and then came back probably around 2016, and then joined the Educogym again. And the success, I was in the UK in various gyms as well, CrossFit gyms, all different stuff. But what I found about the Educo was, I'm a person that needs routine. So first thing in the morning, it suited me. It was 20 minutes, and the focus around the diet, the training, just suited me, and the results were fascinating. And if you get a chance, Jacqui, on your email to briefly share that photo, you see the results where I started. And that was actually, the first picture was actually taken in the gym. That was me then last week. So that's my journey so far on the training side. And I suppose I was introduced then to, I suppose, the Educo model by one of my trainers, and I discussed this with Jacqui, and he kept at me for a number of years actually, and TF, and a great trainer as well, and a great
And
friend
he's from
actually.
Clare.
He's
from
Clare,
Clare and Ennis. Yes.
Yeah. But he I suppose he was a great mentor to me, to be honest, in I suppose what the Educo model is about, and the programming and stuff like that. And my first experience was with you, Jacqui, and I think that was in I
Monte
decided to
Carlo
make
in 17.
Yes, I decided to go on it with a lot of resistance, by the way, and a lot of kind of disbelief around it. But I decided to go. And I suppose it's been it's been the most impactful thing in my life since I've done the seminar, to be honest. One of the quotes here I had just beside me is, how long are you going to wait before you demand the best of yourself, which is Epictetus, the Roman emperor. And I suppose Tony gave me that, made me realize of my potential on the seminar. And I did the beginner seminar, and then I think the following year I did the Mind Master. And I suppose both of them were game changers. The first one, what did I suppose, in short, and I don't want to go into, and this is my first kind of live broadcast about, I can talk on the one-to-one, no problem with people on this, because I've actually, I had a guest speaker on a forum that I'm on, actually, Susan Morris, there last week, and then several people came to me on Zooms after it, and I was able to explain what I got from that. In my business has grown exponentially. That's all I can say, through the model, and I implement the model on a daily basis. And people said, I suppose, people would say, "Why are you so successful?" And I suppose my answer, and that's the truth, is coming from life. It's coming from within. Is coming from the teachings that Dr. Tony Quinn has taught me on both those seminars. And so all around, I suppose I'm a better person, health, body and mind, and that's I suppose that's my journey into the whole Educo process. And I suppose when the lockdown now is going on, a number of things, and you wouldn't believe how much I miss the gym. It's a huge impact on my life, to be honest. It's a real big impact on my life, and I wouldn't go to any other gym. People have asked me to join their gyms, to do other things, and I have no interest whatsoever. Once I suppose that 20 minutes is like an hour and a half training to me. When I go into the gym, I'm just completely in the zone. I'm completely focused. I don't even see anything around me, and I just get my sets, and the trainer's giving me my sets, and the impact of that is amazing. And my muscle mass, and Yeah, if you can share, I suppose
I
if you
think
get an opportunity to share those
I
photos,
think
you'll
be able
see that.
to. Yeah, let me just see
Yeah.
now whether I what's going to
I,
be
I,
oh, great, it
oh,
worked.
wow. Look at that.
Yeah, so
That's incredible.
there's some journey there, isn't there?
Yeah,
Um, it's been
and
it's
that's
just
not.
amazing.
Can I say to you, can I say to you, Jamie, the journey on the left, when I started, to compare where I am is I suppose is the mind journey as well.
Yeah.
Weight loss is
Yeah.
only one. Weight loss is one thing, but it's actually getting your mind right. To be honest, is the most is I suppose is the most important thing. For me, it was getting my mind right, and I've kept that weight off now for a number of years. To be honest, and I have it now. Look, like anybody, I would have a slip day, and I'm like look, I'm a human, and I'd have my slip days, but I've constantly kept my weight off. I've constantly kept my muscle mass, and that has been. But it's training is one thing. I would say to you, the mind is the other thing. And once I got that right, my results in everything, in my training, in my life, in
Mm.
my family life, uh, have just gone through the roof.
So I just want to try and give people a bit of maybe an understanding of your journey. So if I'm hearing this right, you started really, it was about deciding to get control of your weight. So maybe in the first picture you said your weight had ballooned to what, about 18 stone, and
About 18 stone, yeah.
yeah, and what made you exactly join Educogym? So what was it what was it about that kind of got you in the door?
I suppose I can't remember the I can't remember the. I actually trained, believe it or not. I trained in the Educo gym. I'm coming up to 50 now, and I trained in the Educo gym over 30 years ago. Actually, would you believe?
Wow,
When the
okay.
sauna was there,
Yeah, that was
it
when
was over 30.
it was a Tony Quinn gym then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony Quinn gym. Um, so I suppose I trained back then for a while in that, and that's how long. So that obviously had some sort of an impact on me back then. And then I lived close by, and I kept saying to myself, God, I must go in there. And I got a free trial then, and that was it. I was 20 minutes, but it wasn't it was the whole program. To be honest, it was from the time you went in to the assessment, um, to the talking about the diet. It was the attention that
Yeah.
was given to me in that, and the first, I suppose, my first assessment, it was the attention around the detail, and then the continuous assessments on a 6 to 8 weekly basis is
Yeah.
I find that a really really good advantage to me, because it's I suppose it's a milestone every 6 to 8 weeks, and yeah, that's
Yeah.
And,
Because
and
we
Gareth, it's
go for
fair
it.
to say, just to Jamie, because because Gareth and I were on the Educo seminar with Dr. Tony Quinn in, I think it was July 2017. That's where we became friends. But Gareth has his wife and his two twin daughters training in the Educo gym as well. So they train as a family. I think that's pretty cool.
yeah.
So yeah,
That's
yeah,
brilliant. So
But it's
I
my wife goes to them.
I started in that gym
yeah,
actually as well, Garrett, and I can
Yeah,
remember that the sauna was in one changing room, and you alternated
that's
with
right.
which who was going to get which changing room, male or female, and
Yeah, yeah.
but that's actually where I can relate to that, because that's where I start to see the results. But it is that we talk to an awful lot of people at the moment, because we're helping people do a program online, a Educogym online, and it's been really successful. But when you talk to people, they're always missing something. They've tried endless programs, they've tried free programs, they've tried all sorts of different things. And what really resonates with people, and it's just as you've said it there, it is those three pillars. You have to have there's a fitness part to it, there's a nutrition part to it, and then there's the accountability, which really actually involves the mind. And once you have those three, you're really geared up for success. And often a gym doesn't have nutrition, or doesn't have accountability, or you do a nutrition program and maybe it has some accountability but doesn't have the fitness component, and certainly doesn't have the mental aspect of it. And you're right, it's that holistic combination of everything, where the person that you're working with, your coach or your trainer, they really are invested in your results, and they really, really have an interest in seeing you succeed. And that constant follow up, and when you're in the gym, it's very obvious because you're meeting with that person every day and they're finding out how you're getting on. Online, then it's that constant touch points or contact to make sure that you're getting the results. So what I'm interested to know then, okay, so you start to see results. You're following a nutrition program, which is not low calorie, by the way. For people watching, it's really all about nourishing the body. And then you're doing an exercise program that's very short, 20 minutes. People would really like that. I think that's the most popular feature of what we do. There's all sorts of benefits to just having 20 minutes. But when did you start to really understand more about how it was impacting maybe your energy, we would say life force, or your mind? How did you suddenly start to become aware of that?
Well, I suppose the results. I was seeing results, and people were obviously saying that the results were amazing. I suppose I didn't fully understand I didn't fully understand it until I came back from the first seminar, to be honest. That period when I came back from my first seminar, the results were a lot better after a couple of months, because I was able to focus. I was able to focus the mind on my training then. More so. So I suppose I was able to bring that energy into my training, and that was a pivotal point for me. And that's really when I got the results.
It's important there. Maybe even it's interesting to hear you say that, because Jamie and I have discussed that Educogym is the only gym on the planet with a validated university research study. And the study is where they had two groups, and one was being trained by Dr. Tony Quinn how to apply their mind to their outcome when they were training. And that's really where they got the 7.5 pounds of fat loss and the 3 pound gain of muscle tissue in just 12 days. So, that's an area that we would try to relate to people, that it's the area of the mind, it's putting in the program, it's putting in the focus that propel the people to lift those heavier weights, to really focus with 100% unconscious attention. And I suppose when you're trained in the area of unconscious attention, which is Dr. Tony Quinn's model, he got awarded a Master of Science degree for his breakthrough in unconscious attention. So that's what we educate people on, is to apply unconscious attention to their training. But I think that until they're really trained in the steps of the Educo model about the whole area of the mind and unconscious attention, they can, it's almost like upping your game 1,000,000% then when you have the seminar done with your training. And you just kind of said that there.
Yeah, I suppose that was the catalyst point for me, both in my health journey as well, and my business life as well, and to be honest, and my relationships as well with people, because I was, especially when I came back from the Mind Master, I suppose and you knew my goal, Jacqui, back in my audacious goal back then, because you wrote it, you wrote it with me on the seminar. And as I discussed with you the other day, that is now coming true for me. I've hit many targets on that goal along the way, and the final piece of the jigsaw, which I discussed with you the other day, is hopefully going to happen this year. So and I would look at that. I would look at that goal on a daily basis. To be honest, I wrote that out, and I would reread the notes that I took on that. And I write that into my diary every single day. That's the kind of same goal. So, it's amazing. Even the training of the body as well is. I would, if I want to, whatever way I want to look at my body, I would use my mind first to get that, and I would see that first, and then I would work towards that.
Another area I would like to discuss is that, I know that when I was on that seminar with you, and I had done seminars with Dr. Tony Quinn in the past, but there was a pivotal changing point, because he really went more into the energy. So before, the Educo seminars were based more on a business model structure, teaching people how to learn their outcomes, and it delved into the energy. And I suppose the energy area was always the huge area of interest to me, and I suppose why I got involved in Educogym. And that's, that there's this loving, intelligent energy within you. People can call it their spirit, their life force, whatever name you want to give it, but there is something inside every human being. And the purpose of the Educo model is to Educo. Educo means to draw out, so it means to draw out that life force from you as a human being. And Dr. Tony Quinn has a model that has steps for you to, one, either learn the outcomes that you want in your life, but two, to also learn the steps to enlightenment. And that was the area that I loved, I was fascinated with. So, on that seminar, Tony, just like, it was unbelievable, because he really kind of went at us with the whole energy. And was that a completely new experience for you to touch off the whole
Yeah,
energy?
and I was quite
Was, yeah.
resistant towards it because I suppose I'll put it down to, it's a more, the energy in the simplest form is your gut feeling, and it's to bring
Yeah.
that gut feeling out within you. Um, if I can just simplify it, and that's what that did to me. It was able to make me aware that was there,
Yeah.
and that I was able to bring it up and use it when I wanted. And today I use that. I mean, if I know this is, I mean, I have things when I'm buying a property, I would use that to see, is that the right deal for me.
Yeah.
I'd obviously do my maths around it, I do the financials around it. That's the second part. But a 30-second feel for it, I would know that the property is right for me. I just purchased a property the other day. I didn't even see the inside of it. I just seen it from pictures, but I knew, I done the maths around it, but I bought one on an online auction, and I haven't been in it. But I know that's right for me. So that's just in the simplest form, that you can actually bring that up. You can get your gut feeling to know, is it right for you. Same in relationships. If I'm partnerships, same scenario as well. That if I'm introduced to people, I just bring that kind of life or that gut feeling up and bring it out within me, and that's how I use it. It's like you can just turn it on at any stage. That's what I got from it, and it wasn't until the very last day, to be honest. I got so much content, obviously, on the programs and setting goals and stuff like that, but the energy was on the very last day, and that was a game changer for me. And then I suppose when I experienced that right at that moment, I knew I wanted more. I wanted to go to another level, and then obviously I went to the Mind Master, and that's when I brought that to another level. And today, I still use the same process. I still bring that up in my daily first thing in the morning on my meditations. I'm able to bring that up, and my key massages I'm able to bring it up. So I'm able to tap into it. It's like an infinite source that I'm able to kind of tap into when I want and when I choose. And by the way, it's for the good of humanity, not to use it in a
personal gain.
No, it's there for you to use in a, as you say, a holistic way, in a good humane way.
Yeah, I mean, I just while I jump in there quickly, just for people to try and get maybe to allow people to relate. I think the way you've explained it, Garrett, where it is like your intuition, it's that gut feeling, and when you're very in tune with your life force or energy. And I'm sure people watching this, maybe if they can't relate to going on a seminar and they're not quite sure what we're talking about, you will have had times where you do get that sense of intuition or awareness about something. And it does seem to come from outside of what you would typically know. And you sort of know like in the pit of your tummy, you know that it's the right decision, or you know it's something that you should do. So it's really about becoming more in tune with that. But just to go back to very basics. So for somebody who hasn't joined an Educogym before, or you're thinking about doing a weight loss program, which is the real basic part of it, when you've gained a lot of weight and you're not at your full health, you could say that your energy is very low. So you've got lower life force. Now, that can happen because you're not following a very good diet. Maybe it's because you're actually doing way too much exercise or the wrong type of exercise. Your energy can be quite low. But you'll also be aware of this, that when you're thinking thoughts that maybe don't have a very high level of energy about them, there may be sort of thoughts that you're worried or you're stressed about things. We've talked about this before, Jacqui, that you tie up a lot of mental energy, and it's almost, you can't get a sense of where you are. You're very much maybe in a very low ebb. And I know a lot of people, because of where we're at the moment, can be feeling like that. But imagine you got your diet right and you get this energy, and then you do the right type of exercise, and then you get all this extra energy, and then you free up your mind where it's not caught up in your problems, your stresses, your worries, your fears, and you get more energy. So it's like a spectrum where you're moving from maybe having very little energy all the way to suddenly having this incredible level of energy. And then what would it be like if you were actually in tune with that energy? Would you be more aware? Would you be able to really see more around you? So if you think about the person who's very caught up in their thinking or their thoughts, and maybe they're a bit depressed, and they go out for a walk, and you can see them, the cogs are turning in their mind. And other people you come across are much brighter, much more well aware. They're much more present. And we're talking about that spectrum. So the seminar for me, when I did it, was a real eye-opener, literally an eye-opener. I can remember walking around the streets in Dublin. I was in college at the time. And suddenly being able to see all these things I've never seen before, just because I was not caught up in thinking, I was more present. And I think people can relate to that. I mean, do you want to say anything further on that, Jacqui, just to try and get people maybe who have come across this for the first time, just to try and get a sense of what it is that we're talking about?
Yeah, you explained it very well, actually, the way you went through it there. I think that as human beings, we are always looking to do better, to be better. And, we take certain steps to improve in an area. So we go to the gym, we become stronger, we eat a better diet. But I think ultimately we take these steps because we're trying to bring up that life force, that energy within us all the time. Anything we do is to try to become a better us, to become more energized and happier. And what I love about the Educo model is that it's very holistic. What Dr. Tony Quinn teaches is that, you already are good enough. You don't have to do anything to become better because the answers are all within you. And the reason he, people will have heard me explain this before, the reason he designed the Educogym time machine was because he said one of the best steps a person can take to strengthen their mind is to lift heavy weights. And the reason that is because when we're mostly conscious minded thinking. So we're always analyzing, we're always stressing, we're always caught up in that mental tension. And as I would have explained before, what happens is that when we're caught up in all that mental stress, it chokes off the life force in us. So anything we can do to relax that mental tension is going to allow more of that life force and that energy to come through. So when you lift those heavy weights, it commands all of your attention. When you command all of your attention, you go into what's called unconscious attention. And that's what Dr. Tony Quinn got awarded a Master of Science degree, was for his breakthrough in that area. And through activating unconscious attention, Dr. Tony Quinn was able to do operations without any anesthetic to show the power of the mind. He also worked with Steve Collins and helped train him through using unconscious attention to become the world champion in boxing. He also tracked seminar participants when they came back from a seminar on lots of areas on life satisfaction, goal setting and achieving, to personal finances, business turnover, and all of the results got better the longer people were back. And if you actually listen to what Garrett just said there, I was on that seminar that he did, and we put in a program through the teachings that Tony Quinn teaches you on the seminar of your big goal, because he's always trying to encourage people to relax the mind and go for the biggest goal you can. And I even remember doing that with Garrett, and Garrett was like, my God, can I go for that goal? And I was like, sure, go for it, follow the mechanics and see what happens. And today he's here saying that it's more or less a happening. And that's going back to, if we take, I think it's Hewlett is his name. He was one of our clients in our Educogym in Belize. He was chief of police. He took this further. He went on a seminar to learn how his mind works. And through that process of implementing his goal, he put in 0 crime rate for Belmopan, that there be no crime rate. And we got awarded a global award-winning gym because of the impact it had on the community. So what you explained there, Jamie, about the process of coming into the gym to lift weights, that makes you feel better. It's increasing your life force. When you eat a better diet, what's that doing? It's increasing your life force and your energy. You feel better. It frees up your mind more, because what we have to understand is that when the body isn't active and moving, and when we're not eating the right foods, if we're eating a high sugar diet, what happens is that they actually are almost like mental toxins. and they suppress the life force in us. And when people don't understand how their mind works and the mechanics of their mind, what happens is they're unconsciously eating their way to illness. They're also thinking their way unconsciously to health and illness problems. Now, what Dr. Tony Quinn does is he actually educates a person on the mechanical process of how their mind works. And this has always fascinated me, that we are born into this world and very few people actually know how their mind works. And when we do this seminar, we're on a seminar for 10 days, literally learning the subject of your mind and how to control your mind. And how to, the first step, as I mentioned earlier, the basis of this seminar and what you're learned with the Educo model, which is education, guys. Remember, Educo means education. So it is an educational model that is teaching you how to fast track your results by deliberately using the steps that Dr. Tony Quinn has designed to imprint the outcome, and you come from it. The other area is then where he is teaching you that when you learn to take control of the mental mechanics and relax your mind, when you relax your mind, you become aware of this energy being that you actually are. And I know people might say that that area sometimes can be a bit fluffy, but I always say that if you cut yourself, there's something inside you that's healing you. When you die, there's something that leaves your body. There is something that's growing our hair or nails. There is something in there. And Garrett explained it in a way that I think every human being will relate to, that gut instinct. And what the purpose of educating yourself on the area of the mind and learning to control your thoughts. Now, let's remember, Buddha was out there teaching people that you and your world are composed of your thoughts. The wise person controls their thoughts. And Buddha, the word Buddha means the enlightened one. So I truly believe, and having gone through the steps of the model with Tony Quinn to have achieved that enlightenment, that everything is about controlling your mind. And, you know, when you learn that, then you become aware of this energy being that you are, that is a perfect, loving, intelligent energy that wants the absolute best for you. But when you operate from that level, it's effortless living. When you operate from that level, you're operating at your true nature level, which is perfection, which is easy. You're a light being. We're not meant to be, drawn down by these heavy, dense layers of thought. We're meant to use thought creatively to enhance our life for the areas we want to achieve in. We're not meant to use it for stress and worry. And I think that's what Dr. Tony Quinn teaches you on the seminar, is that you have control over your life. Once you learn how to control your thoughts, it's almost like you become an artist where you design the perfect life for you. But taking it a step further is actually operating your life on a day-to-day basis where you're actually not caught up in thought, where you're in the now or the flow, as some athletes would describe it as, or, you know, musicians, that you're totally present. And when you're totally present, this energy being is very much present with you. And for me, to live your day-to-day basis like that is what it's about. And, you know, Jamie, just to explain as well, like we had, and Gareth, I don't know if you ever met Liam, young Liam, as I describe him, as a young guy, 26 years of age, who comes in here, and he is like every other young person out there. I was like Liam. I was wondering, like, you know, I knew there was more to life, and he just learned how to use his mind. And when he learned to use his mind, he could control his life. You know, and I suppose I'm very passionate about Educogym. Yes, I'm. The reason I'm involved in Educogym, and Jamie, you'll probably agree with me, is yes, I love fitness and I love health and I love helping people, but I love helping people. And that's really why I do what I do, because I totally believe that the Educogym model is the answer that people are looking for, whether they realize it or not at the moment. And I believe that it is the educational model of the future. And my hope would be to see this model being taught in schools someday, because nobody is actually saying to us that you are the answer. Everything that you have is within you, and all you need to do is learn it, understand it, and you can then decide to draw that out, as Garrett said, at will, and work with it. I know I kind of went off there, but that is the whole premises. We're all looking for more life, energy, happiness, that, and that's what it's about. And I believe the Educo model gives you the tools to have all of that and more, actually.
Absolutely, that's very well put, and I hope people are relating to that, because I think it's very easy to understand what it is that we're referring to. And Garrett, can I ask you then, when you obviously you lost weight, you were convinced to do the seminar. What was it that you noticed immediately coming back from the seminar? What was the difference? I know it can be when you're sort of looking back maybe a number of years ago to actually pinpoint it, but just so people can get a sense of what was the difference.
I suppose how present I was. That was the big change. That I wasn't worried about the past. I wasn't worried about the future. It was now. I was in the now, and I was kind of staying in the now. And I keep on going back to that because there's different techniques that you use to bring you back to that. And I suppose that's the biggest impact on people. That's the biggest stress factor, that they're worrying about the future, they're worrying about the past. Um, that was the biggest win for me, was being able to stay in the now. What can I control now? Um, and that was a big change for me, coming back from the seminar. And I keep on relating back to that, what I can control now, and that was one of the big things for me.
Yeah, and just so people get maybe a better sense of that, worrying about the past. So you maybe you learn growing up that somebody convinces that you have maybe an issue in your personality, or you're shy about things, or you don't like public speaking. That's kind of an example of when you've got something that's from your past. It's very much in the forefront of your mind, and it causes you a lot of stress. Or you're worried about the future. You're thinking, okay, well, how am I going to be able to buy that house, or how am I going to be able to send my kids to school? Or you're creating a vision, and then you're worried about it. So rather than being present, which is much more dealing with the here and now, and that's really more freed from thought. Would that be the way that you'd understand it?
Yeah, I suppose if you want to kind of put it into the analogy I kind of always use is the matrix, or the matrix. If you stay within the matrix, and people ever watch that movie, the matrix, that's kind of something that I would always play with, where people are, I'm out of the matrix, or just jesting and stuff like that. I suppose I'm not caught up in the day to day, what's going on around the world. To be honest, I'm tuned in when I want to tune in, and I hear the news that I choose to hear, and I black out the news that I don't want to hear. I'm not letting it affect me on a daily basis. Uh, COVID obviously has impacted. Has it? Yeah, of course, I'm sure it's impacted everybody. But I'm not. I'm not getting caught up in the day to day
Emotion of it.
scaring of. Yeah, I'm actually. I do I do very simple things. I do my meditation in the morning, and because of COVID now, I'm doing a lot of running, um, where I hadn't before. And I'm able to use my, I suppose, this. I've gone a lot of I've done a lot of running actually, and I've just got into a marathon there. But I know that as soon as the gym opens back up again, I need to get straight back in there. I'll reduce my running to do a London Marathon, and I'll train more in the do go on the strength training. Um, but yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's more about the emotion of it. It's like being in business, or maybe if you've been involved with working with a team, it's always trying to get people to focus on the reality of what's happening, but not attaching a massive amount of emotion to when things aren't going well. Being able to analyze and look at getting the feedback from the what action you're taking will definitely result in certain feedback, which will be very obvious in your results. And then it's how you react to that, or what you decide to do about that. So I think one of the things I would notice, that you get a definite change in your mindset when you do the seminar, is you learn more about deciding the outcome that you want, fixing your mind on that outcome, and then watch what happens as you make certain actions, and you make your plan, you're deciding what steps you're going to take. Now, a lot of people will get very caught up in the emotion of things that they're not going well, and they decide it's never going to happen, and they get into this kind of spiral of thought. Whereas what you're seeing is that maybe the certain actions that you're taking aren't working, and then you're just changing your approach, but staying focused on the outcome. And I think that's a huge difference, because we're all, I think, educated as we grow up to focus on our issues and our problems. And as I always say to guys that we work with, I don't know about you, but I've noticed when you start focusing on your issues and your problems, that they just get bigger rather than actually coming up with a solution. And I think that's a huge switch.
And
one of the things I will say, sorry, Jacqui, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You're our guest.
Just one of the things I will say to you, it's not about, Tony does say on his seminars, you have to take action. Okay. So it's not you're not sitting at home and wishing this stuff away. He's very action orientated, by the way. He's very goal orientated. It's not like, and he gives you set directions or instructions of how to achieve that. So it's not this that you have this kind of airy fairy thing that you're in the energy or stuff like that. And the outcome is very important. Action steps are very important. And that's one of the things that I definitely learned. I mean, he's a master at that, taking action and results. Getting the results is one of his biggest thing. And I suppose getting the results in the gym, as you can see from my pictures, they were amazing results. Getting my results in my business, and you track those results, and that's one of the biggest things. And I would track a lot of my successes. And how did that work? If I put on extra weight, I would go back and I would track that process, what worked for me. And it's like I suppose I have a journal here. And I would track that. I would do a lot of tracking, and I'm able to go back to a time where I was at my fittest, what I did in the training, and then I would just implement that again. What I done in my eating, I would implement that again, and I would probably I'd ask the trainer in the Educo to work a program around that particular time when I was most successful, or when I was at my best weight, or when I was at my best thing. So my business, I do the exact same thing. It's action orientated. You track the process, and that's what I would do on a daily basis. How am I getting my wins? How am I getting my results? Through tracking and through action.
That's very good.
Yeah, and I think to put it, I know we're speaking about the whole model today, because remember, Educogym is a holistic model. But look, the thing is that any action that you take in your life, as Garrett just said, it is about action to improve your life is a good thing. So that's why when you train, that's a good thing. Eat properly, that's a good thing. Start walking, that's a good thing. Start not watching the news 24/7. That's a good thing. They're all little steps, just a normal day-to-day thing basis that you can do to start feeling better. So, and the other thing is that we have clients who come in here who get extraordinary results, but they have applied the Educo model steps without even knowing it. So ultimately what we're trying to relate to people is that there is actually a mental mechanical step process that you follow without realizing it to cause such great results. So people who come into us, when they get those with the made up mind, it's the made up mind that will produce the results. And people achieve extraordinary things in life because they have their mind made up. And I suppose, to keep it in a fun, simple way, Dr. Tony Quinn just teaches you those mechanics that people are applying without understanding that they're applying it. So I was saying everything is running unconsciously. And what he's doing is he's pulling it up from your unconscious into your conscious mind to teach you the steps, and then you apply them, install them, and it happens. Because like Garrett, you were like, one question I have for you, you were successful anyway, even before the seminar. Yeah. So did what you learned on the seminar show you how you were succeeding in some areas? Did you identify the pattern? And then did you find that you were able to apply that?
I suppose I applied it differently. I came out of the financial crash, I suppose in 2008. And that's when the kind of distress is like a lot of people. So I was able to go back, I identify in detail the mistakes I had made. And I was able to, and that was through the tracking process, by the way, what worked for me and what didn't work for me. And I would, I suppose, journal that. And to this day, I would still do probably 3 to 4 mornings a week. The successes on that. So that was a technique that was that on the seminar that I was taught. So yes, I was successful, but I was also doing things. I suppose, I was successful. Then the financial crash happened. If that happened now again, I wouldn't have the same results as I did back then. I would get through any kind of any situation now because the processes that I put into place and stuff like that.
So through learning basically the mechanics of your mind, you now know that you have if you want an education system to go to.
I've as things that I've got that good feeling again when things are shifting. I've an understanding of the economy when they're shifting. I've a more awareness of things now where I didn't have back then. Through all the learnings and teachings I've had over the last while. So yeah, it's hard to describe it is hard to describe what it is, what it gives you. I just don't, I can just bring it up kind of at any stage now. And I have, as I said, I just have that awareness now that I didn't have previously. And that's just the biggest thing. And I'm not making it, I'm just saying it's there. But you have to practice it every day, I suppose. You have to practice the techniques every day. And that's the things. You can't, I suppose you can't just go to it's like any training. It's like my gym training. I know that it's non-negotiable. My gym training is non-negotiable for me. Obviously lockdown has an impact on that, but I was doing it, believe it or not. I know you have to do it 3 times a week. I was doing it 5 days a week. I would take my supplements in the morning, non-negotiable. My training non-negotiable, my tracking non-negotiable, my meditation non-negotiable. So they're the things, they're the exercises that I take, and that then gives you your life force, and that gives you all the other benefits of things. But it's a pattern, it's an education, it's a system that Tony has created. If you follow the system, it works. And I suppose I'm proof that it works. Well, I feel I am. I feel it by applying the model, by applying but it's all a system. It's the training. Can I say something? The gym has been, I suppose, the start of that process. It was my first contact into the Educo, and that was. I just can't say it's been, and I know without. I am not promoting. Of course, I'm promoting the gym, but I'm just saying that it's been how that's impacted my life. The words can't even explain how that's impacted my life. But just doing that 20 minutes a day, and yeah.
I think one of the things that's interesting when you do the seminar, and we're talking about systems, we're talking about patterns, but it's a model. And if anybody thinks of what a model actually is, it's a series of steps so that you can then reproduce a particular result. And what happens on the seminar is that you learn those steps. And often people can be very successful in an area like Garrett is describing there, but they may not be conscious of actually how they're achieving that success. So they don't know the steps that they can take that's producing success in that area. So somebody might be very successful in business, but not great at relationships, or somebody might be very successful at art, but not great at business. And therefore, when they try and teach people what they're doing, they can't really identify the steps themselves. It's an unconscious process. It's not a conscious process. What happens on the seminar is that you learn those steps and you learn how you achieve success in an area. You can even track, as Garrett said. So tracking is really making the unconscious conscious and figuring out what steps you did and tracking back and seeing, okay, well, this is how I produced that result, and then becoming very much conscious of it, and then being able to apply those steps to other areas. So what we want to happen for you coming to Educogym is we want you to be aware of how you applied your mind. You know, how did you come up with the goal that you decided that you wanted to get into shape, that you wanted to lose the weight, and then you achieve what you thought was impossible. You lose 40 pounds, you lose 50 pounds, you're transformed. And rather than discarding that result and saying, okay, well, now I'm in shape, it's not about that. It's about saying, okay, well, actually, how did I come up with that goal? How did I really stick to the process? How did I transform my life? And okay, great. Right, let's start to use that success to create greater success. So if you look at our logo, you'll see that there's a shape, a V in it, which is an infinity sign. And the idea is that you achieve success and then you build on that so that your mind then allows it to expand, which is really about the drawing out. And it's that infinite process of really expanding your mind and constantly moving to the ever better by literally just applying the steps of our model. And I think that's the exciting part. Listening to Garrett's story, it's exciting to see, you know, how his journey and where it's taken him to and what sort of places that you've gone to, Garrett, and even how you've been able to approach maybe the pandemic. A lot of people, you know, I'm sure are feeling this sense of absolute hopelessness that you just really can't see how you're going to get out of it. But then, you know, when you don't tie yourself up in the emotion of it, which honestly, it's not saying it's easy. It might be quite challenging, but certainly the more you understand the mechanics of your mind, the more you can then decide where you want to put your attention. And we've talked about unconscious attention. Unconscious attention, think of it like pure attention. Often people talk about being in the zone or the flow. So it's consciously being able to apply all of your mind to something and then really being able to get into a flow. And we like to talk about and Tony would talk about the flow of life and being able to go into that, because that's an endless source of happiness and success. And really that's what we want for everybody. That's why we do these events on a Saturday morning. We want to get more and more people who've achieved incredible success that you have, Garrett. Those before and afters are absolutely amazing. And it's great to see how it's impacted your life. And you'll have heard from Jacquis and myself and how it's impacted us. But the more people we can get to give their view, you'll be able to relate to different people's understanding, and you'll be able to really see how it's affecting people. But I think isn't it, Jacquis? I mean, that's what's so incredible about Garrett's story is being able to see somebody understand a model, a system, a pattern, whatever you want to call it, and then being able to start to apply it to all sorts of different areas. An area that you think needs a particular piece of attention, and then focusing on it and then helping it to improve. And that's
the key, Jamie. That is the key. Is what you said there is applying it. A lot of people will get these teachings and won't do anything with them, to be honest. But if you truly apply the model, it works. That's it. And if you do the techniques, if you do the action steps, it works. And that's it.
Yeah, you're moving things in your favor.
Exactly. It's like in the gym, to get into shape, you apply the steps, you get the result. Then there's a training of the mind, apply the steps, because you are learning tools on a seminar. You apply the tools, you get the result there as well. So it's all about taking the positive steps that are going to enhance your life in every way. So, you know, look, guys, where you are in the pandemic, and, you know, some people are struggling with it. And, you know, our advice to people would be just to take action, you know, do the steps that you see to do, just take the first step. So if that's where you're sitting on the couch every evening and you just need to start getting up and going for a walk every evening, that's a step in a positive direction to increase your life force. The next thing, you may join our online Educogym training, where you start doing a bit of resistance training. And remember, I was saying that the whole area of resistance training isn't just, yes, it's about getting into shape and toning up the body. And you know my line, your muscle tissue is your organ of longevity. So that's important. But it's almost like a training for disciplining your mind to develop more of that mind control. The next thing is eating a high life force diet, you know, and as you would have heard me say in previous talks, if you like painting, if you like horse riding, whatever your passion is, just make sure you do it in the week. You know, if it's 3 times a week, if it's every day, because that is going to help you to bring up your life force, and that then helps you to be more in control of your thoughts and your life. We have relaxations that we have online on Educo Gym under videos. Start doing relaxations, because that again is all teaching you about how to control your thoughts. So there's so much available to you to help you in the area that we're speaking about. So just take the little steps that you see to take today.
Absolutely. Yeah. Get on the start of your journey, start to experience more energy, and then see what happens as you go on that continuum. What happens if you really ramp up the level of energy? What are you capable of? And I think everybody, if they think about what do successful people do, there's always talk about having great levels of attention, having great levels of energy, having a goal that excites them, that they're passionate about, because it engages more energy. Engages more of their mind, engages more of their attention. So these are all things that actually, if you logically think about it, you'll think, oh, actually, yeah, that's not very far out there. That actually does make incredible sense. So we're just moving people maybe a little bit further along that path to suddenly see what they're capable of, what is their real potential. And I promise you, once you start to discover it, you'll discover what amazing potential you have, and then that's where it really becomes incredibly exciting, for not only for you but for everybody around you. So so we really appreciate you joining us today, Garrett. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
My pleasure. Thank you.
For everybody watching, we really appreciate you joining us. And for those of you watching it live, we hope you enjoyed it. And when you watch it later, we also hope that you enjoyed it. Anything else that you'd like to finish off with, Jacqui, before we sign off?
Again, just thank you so much, Gareth, for coming on and sharing your story as a client, because I know that, that in itself, takes a little bit of courage, and, so thank you. And we appreciate it, because, we have so many clients. It's like before and after pictures. We have so many amazing results, and, obviously there's only a few people who'll just let us use their before and afters, but that's such an inspiration by you taking this action. We're hoping that will be an inspiration and maybe ignite something in somebody listening, that, yes, there is solutions, there is answers, and it's the Educo model. So,
yeah. And it's only 20 minutes.
That's it.
Yes, exactly.
The 20-minute gym 3 times a week, an hour of exercise. Who can't manage that?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jacqui. Thanks again, and it was great to be back doing our morning on a Saturday morning live. We really appreciate everybody who took the time to watch and stay with us. So thank you so much, everybody, and we will see you next week, provided we don't do anything to annoy Facebook, apparently. Okay.
Yes. Look forward to it.
Right.